Hello, welcome
Hi.
back.
Hi,
Lesson,
everyone.
lesson 36. My holiness, I'm very holy, have you heard? My holiness envelops everything I see. Oh, here we go. It's getting good. Today's idea extends the idea for yesterday from the perceiver to the perceived. You are holy because your mind is part of God's. And because you are holy, your sight must be holy as well. Sinless means without sin. You cannot be without sin a little. You are sinless or not. If your mind is part of God's, you must be sinless, or a part of his mind would be sinful. Your sight is related to his holiness, not to your ego, and therefore not to your body. Wow, that's big.
Can we talk about that?
Yes. Recognizing that our mind is, God is in my mind, or my mind is one with God, it has to be holy. And I can't attribute anything to myself that I wouldn't also attribute to God. So God's sinlessness, God's purity and holiness is my own.
Another term for that is, and this is from my understanding, the word or the term holiness
Yes.
didn't come alive in practical day-to-day perception
Yeah.
until I swapped that word out for incorruptible innocence.
Yes.
All right. So, lesson 36 is my holiness envelops everything I see. I changed it to, for myself, my incorruptible innocence envelops everything I see. That I can understand, that I can open my heart and mind, of course, to let that in, really let that in. So, can we talk about a little bit about, at least begin to talk about what is incorruptible innocence as opposed to the ego's idea of innocence?
Yes.
Right.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the fact that everything that God has declared has an opposite imposter definition within the ego thought system. And so while God declares incorruptible innocence because the separation has not, in fact, ever occurred, the ego has its definition of innocence. And let's think about that for a moment. In the world, if somebody is innocent, they're professing their innocence, but at what cost? If I am innocent, if there is a wrong or a sin in the dream of separation, we go, who did this? We want to assign a cause to it. And of course, if I'm innocent of it, it's going to come at the cost of my brother's guilt. I can't have innocence without it being, it's got, somebody did this, but it wasn't me, it was him. And so that's the ego's version of what Jesus terms corrupted innocence. It's not real innocence at all because it attacks and blames a brother. It crucifies a brother. So somebody wins and somebody loses. So the
Somebody's,
counter,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that your video froze there for a few seconds. It's a little bit unstable. I can still hear you, and that's good. All right.
Okay.
Let's just keep going here because that's the ego again, right? Trying to sabotage this.
You guys.
6. My
Yes.
holiness envelops everything I see. My incorruptible innocence envelops everything I see. So this innocence, this incorruptible innocence, how do we know it? We know it because it's shared with everyone across the board. That's how we know it's different.
Right.
Different than the ego's brand of innocence. which
right.
is at the cost of making someone else guilty.
Because if it can't be shared, it's not real, right?
Exactly.
Yes. So innocence is incorruptible. Innocence is the recognition that we all are equally innocent. And it's the sharing of the one Son of God and his incorruptible innocence, because there has been no separation. And it's a willingness to extend that truth to every brother equally without exception.
Yeah.
And that's a feeling thing.
Yeah. Thank you, sis.
So putting that into context, our incorruptible innocence then envelops everything I see. So if he was pointing us to the peace in our mind is there because we share the mind of God, and that, extends to everything we see because we're learning cause and effect is reversed. So, once we apply that to peace, now apply that to incorruptible innocence. The mind that knows its innocence is then enveloping everything that it sees because it is one with everything that it sees, because what it's looking upon is actually in the mind and not out there.
Beautiful. So that's why we can afford to have peace regardless of what's going on when we reconnect with Holy Spirit on what it is we want to see. We want to see through Christ's vision, through Holy Spirit's vision, right?
Right.
And then we can have peace.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So paragraph 2.
So are you reading or am I reading?
You're reading.
Oh, 4 3 to 5 minute practice periods are required for today. Try to distribute them fairly evenly and make the shorter applications frequently to protect your protection throughout the day. The longer practice period should take this form following. First, close your eyes and repeat the idea for today several times slowly, which is, my holiness envelops everything I see. And then feel into that, what does that mean? My incorruptible innocence, the truth in my mind, envelops everything I see. Then open your eyes and look quite slowly about you, applying the idea specifically to whatever you note in your casual survey. Say, for example, this: my holiness envelops that rug. My holiness envelops that wall. My holiness envelops these fingers. My holiness envelops that chair. My holiness envelops that body. My holiness envelops this pen. Several times during these practice periods, close your eyes and repeat the idea to yourself. Then open your eyes and continue as before. For the shorter exercise periods, close your eyes and repeat the idea. Look about you as you repeat it again, and conclude with one more repetition with your eyes closed. All applications should, of course, be made quite slowly, as effortlessly and unhurriedly as possible.
So my holiness envelops my internet connection.
Yes, very practical.
Very
Right?
practical. Yes.
Very, very, very practical. So do we have a recommendation on this one?
We do. Yes, Nouk, you wrote a beautiful blog I thought would be a perfect match. It's called A Profound Lesson in Innocence. Take a look at that. That really deeply unpacks the difference between the ego's definition of innocence and the Holy Spirit's correction and what true innocence is, and flushes out the relationship between holiness and innocence. I don't think we'll ever read the word holiness, just seems kind of ethereal, twice removed, but
Not
you know,
me.
yeah, our
Not
innocence is,
me.
well,
Right. Yeah.
right, not me, not mythical me. But it really makes it a more practical and user friendly when we recognize and use it as in innocence. And at the end of that blog is a review of these workbook lessons regarding these holiness lessons, like 35, 6, 7, and I think 38. Yeah, and 39. So those are also included at the tail end of that blog. So be sure to click on it and take a look. We think it'll be really, really strengthen these lessons in you.
And that blog will appear, the link to it will appear at the bottom down
Yep,
here. That's
down
right.
below.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sis. Lesson 36, my holiness envelops everything I see. Thank you.